Beast. I think the last time we saw Wolf Team pick up his Clockwork in response to Primal Beast, it ended up not working out exactly perfectly, just because sometimes Onslaught goes all the way over the cog, sometimes it gets pushed back, sometimes you get in the cog. It's a funky interaction that has a
Yeah.
lot of kinks that coincide with it. But I think right now, though, they're probably just thinking, well, what are we picking for our off lane? I still think they could probably get away with Lycan, aside from the Primal Beast, which is the big concern. I think the lane's good, and you probably just eat AB1 alive every single team fight. Probably a good source of income. They don't go for it, though. Could see them just going for your basic lockdown. It's sad because I would have said Mars would have been a great choice for them, but that's why 5RAT decided to ban it out.
Okay. Look
Yeah, I'm
at you.
happy.
Look at
I'm
you.
so happy. But
Just
this is a big risk because they are picking the Lycan in the counter pick position. So if 5RAT, let's say, wanted to pick Bloodseeker right now, they just could. And then your Lycan's ruptured the rest of the game. But I do think the relative strength of the hero is going to make him feel worth it regardless. Because even if you do, let's say, pick up the Bloodseeker and try to counter him out, well, you've still got the rest of your summons to do the brunt of the work, even if your main hero isn't doing it. And we've seen what Lycan summons can do during Shapeshift. You just die. You don't have enough armor. Now let's see.
okay.
Okay. Kunkka. Standard. Just good hero versus the creep. Able to clear out those waves super quickly. Doesn't mind too many things. Also pretty nice versus Snapfire. Just any mid laner that can instantly cancel the kisses on his own at a pretty decent range is going to
Right.
feel A-okay. And versus Invoker, why not? Melee hero, more base damage. Nobody cares about the runes for once in this tournament. It's funny. Everybody's always been either a Spirit or a Lena, something that has to get that bottle refilled. Kunkka
Hmm.
Invoker, nobody cares at all.
Yeah, if it's there, maybe they'll grab it, but they're not going to demand rotations just to protect it like some of the other mid laners we've seen. So that makes for a bit of an interesting matchup on that front. In the meantime, there is going to be that ban on the Bloodseeker from the Wolf team side. So we were talking about maybe the Lycan is still strong enough to do some work even into a DNM Bloodseeker. Wolf team say, let's just not deal with that at all, because it would still be a pain in the ass to deal with the Rupture. Plus, any combination of Bloodseeker going in with a Global Silence on top of it is just not going to be fun for you. So, makes sense to ban it out. They ban the Phantom Lancer as well here to close things out on their end. And, well, I mean, the PL was just going to be kind of annoying no matter what, situation-wise.
Yeah, very low lockdown. I think a hero that can very easily survive versus Invoker and Lycan and doesn't care about EMPs. Even if you do get the EMP down, he just dopples it. It's just too free. And now for 5RAT, I think they really should be looking at HFN's hero pool. They ban out Slark,
Hmm.
which, okay, kind of makes sense. Of course, would just absolutely ignore Silencer, would not care about him in the slightest, but would have been a carry to step on. I am a little bit concerned here if they do go for the Juggernaut, just because, again, it's another hero that really your main core can't do anything about. Your mid laner can't gank him. Your Primal Beast is going to be fine, but honestly, last night the cut made Jug seem like an answer to Primal Beast, at least in lane. But let's see, I think one thing I don't want to see from Wolf Team, though, is they're going for, let's say, a hero like Lifestealer, because we've also seen that hero try to play out versus the Primal Beast, and even though maybe it gets slightly annoying for the Beast, it just is so bad. I think it's just not good. But here's the big concern, though. Whatever Wolf Team decide to pick up of, there's still a Morphling pick in the back of your head right now that you're probably thinking out for 5RAT, and depending on whether or not DNM, again, goes for that Ags build, Wolf Team might purposefully look away from heroes agi carries just in case that is the threat. And well, there's your Juggernaut. Again, makes sense. Just buy the books, Dota. But DNM does have options here, though. And of course, you're playing versus Jug. First hero that's going to stand out to you is probably the PA, just because that's your direct counter. Can't Omni Slasher. Can't really stay on top of her either. And versus a Lycan, I feel like she's not going to be too pressured. But the Morph is also there.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I mean,
done.
it's a pretty nice Morphling game at this point, and it was just sitting there. So, well, it will be a little bit interesting, right? Not sure who his morph target could be in a lot of these fights. He could simply take the Jug and just spin his way through everything, and they would
Well,
have to deal with that.
it seems annoying. I mean, Jug losing 70 attack speed every team fight is those Omni Slashes might be chunky Omni Slashes, but We'll have to see. Maybe Jug is a carry that can move past it by just going all in for the spin build. But no, a lot of moving parts in both these drafts. I like that we see the Lycan again. We'll have to see how hard a game it is for Merlin and AB1. Of course, they're the ones that are going to suffer the most here by that counter pick. But the cores feel pretty good. And again, even versus the Primal Beast, that Lycan ever shows in lanes, well, Speed's going to TP up. He's going to trample you. He's going to onslaught you. He's going to just kill you, basically. It's going to be a more difficult game, I think, for King RD here. And we do see as well, it is going to be King RD on the Lycan, so he's going to be playing offlane for this team yet again, and FCR on LaForest. So already still in that stand-in situation. Fingers crossed for Sooths, though. Invoker, hopefully the internet connection stays there, because that's a little bit more mechanically difficult here to play than Bat Rider was yesterday. But fingers crossed for the man.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. Hopefully just some, extenuating circumstances doesn't happen again, but it is going to be tough. Playing Invoker on ping with lag, with a disconnect in general, like we saw yesterday, is not going to be a fun time. And yeah, it is a bit unfortunate that they don't have Tavo here again today, because we did see him yesterday, but it is what it is, right? Availability is kind of fluctuating for this Wolf team, a lineup which I don't want to say that that's an excuse, but it is part of the reason why they're perhaps not playing up to the level that we might have expected from them so far, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Have to see. I was going to say, no pause. One team smoked up. We're in it. Okay. Smooth start.
Is
Smooth
that
sailing.
allowed?
See, I just needed to have the rough start this morning, and now the teams are ready to go. And already something interesting happening because HFN, look at that. Boots. It's just Boots. And he sold it.
Wait.
That was just to get out onto the map faster to place this ward, but okay.
What the heck?
I mean, there was always going to be shenanigans when that when the buy timer got increased by, a full minute, but at the same time, man, everybody should do this. Just buy boots, get out onto the map, sell them in the side shop, in the secret shop. It's
It's
great.
just so funky, but yeah, it did well. It worked to get the ward. The problem is now KJ and FCR were walking on top of an opposing ward. They might be in some trouble, but they can't actually catch up. Feels like the concussive shot maybe came out a little bit early, but no, they were marching up the ramp, so they were spotted as they went. But still an interesting situation and a fight that could still break out. The supports on the Wolf team side haven't actually backed off of this. There's going to be the concussive shot out again. Glaive's coming through. FCR getting absolutely hammered, and he should go down here. No, he's going to pop a Fairy Fire. Can AB1 finish the kill? Yes, he can. Some free int for him. And now, HFN's come over as well, but he wants to spin his way out of here, which means KJ is all by himself. Concussive shot comes through again. And this is not going to be fun. Glaive going to connect for the kill, and AB1 starts the lane with 4 int stolen. That's a hell of a start for him.
It's a D ward as well, and, well, you now get to see that HFN has purposefully decided to lane up here against the Morphling, and
Oh.
I don't know if that's going to be the correct decision here. And we are in a try-v-try situation, and KJ's going to be very annoying with the battery assault. Of course, if the support's going to just share it and walk back to the tower, still a lot of damage traded, but is this really what you wanted? And it seems that they want this just to get the soul lane of the Lycan versus the Primal Beast, but I feel like eventually Primal Beast is just going to beat the Lycan and then kill him, and then your bottom lane is also just suffering as the Snapfire almost gets killed off. Battery assault again. We'll make these trades more even, and actually need to be a little bit careful once the Snapfire can come back and maybe get another Snapfire blast. But again, KJ
might go down first.
Okay.
I say first. He's the only one who's going to go down here. AB1 just walks out.
+6.
+6 indeed. This is looking a little rough, man. You bring a tri-lane to fight the opposing tri-lane, but you've already given up 3 kills. Is it worth it to have that solo lane up top? Or I guess, is it worth it if HFN finds farm in this lane? But so far, it doesn't seem like D&M's really going to be slowed down, so they're just going to compete on even footing. And now HFN actually might just have to spin his way out of this, because he is getting hit.
Oh, but of course, even if you spin, you're laning versus 3 ranged heroes. Like, they are just going to continue to hit you. I mean, God, this is just not panning out for him right now. And sure, with the healing ward, he's going to be able to reset maybe, but I can't also reiterate enough. The Wolf team chose this. This is something that they decided to do. They could have just laned the Jug versus the Primal Beast like we expected, as we've seen so many teams already do as an answer in response to that hero, but
Right.
they bank everything on this. I just think Wolf team's response has been too quick and too appropriate for the situation.
Yeah, and here we go, ET. Ready for a little bit of professional analysis?
Dead?
This lane sucks. Like, this is terrible. If you're Wolf team, like, I'm not shit talking the players, but this situation is horrible.
Oh, it's not fun. And of course, praised the rats before about wanting to be the ones to experiment and, test out and push the limits of a new patch, but this is
This doesn't work, boys.
no, this is just pain, and Wolf Team just keep on feeding into it, and really they have to. They have to keep on throwing their bodies around until they get at the very least a kill, but 2K net worth at 3 minutes into
Oh
the
my
game.
god.
It's just the numbers just don't really make all too much sense, but it's just suffering, and AB1 honestly doing
And
everything.
then
And
Kennedy
then,
dies.
yeah, Speed gets a solo kill. Well, this is the first game of the day.
Damn, yeah. Here's a nice little wake-up call for us to start things off. I say wake-up call. It's well into the afternoon, but Dota player lifestyle, right? Sleep schedules, who needs them? They don't exist. But Wolf Team, I mean, they need to wake the hell up pretty soon here, but what do they do? What is the immediate solution to this? I feel like there isn't one. They just have to kind of take it for the first few minutes.
Yeah, no, this is pain, and pain that can only be resolved, I think, by getting boots or really any farm. And they're trying to get farm in this large camp pull, but okay, HFN, he's on the run. Where is HFN going? The Jug is making an adjustment. Is he really just
Wait,
getting the
really?
water rune? Oh
That
no.
feels very, very bad. Yeah, that was just for the water rune.
Well, I mean, he got some mana, didn't have to pop his stick charges, but that's what goes to show what
No,
kind of
FCR.
situation we're in, as the level 3 silencer, the level 2 Skywrath Mage beating up the barely level 2 Snapfire.
Plus 10, man. We're 4 minutes in. Hey, there's a kill. Seuss able to make it happen mid as KJ rotates in. Kits was on pretty low HP, and we talked about these two mid laners, both of them not really caring about runes. Kunkka didn't even have a bottle, so he didn't really have a way of healing up, and that doesn't solve all the problems, ET, but that's a kill on the board. You get rid of that 0, and at least your mid laner's having a bit more fun of a time. But KJ may end up paying for this. He's going to try to fight it out with Battery Assault, but he can't win this. Can he deny?
Deny, though? Yeah.
Hey.
No, very nicely played. And, of course, the Battery Assault not having to right-click or really get too far out. Very well played. But, yeah, I think we'll have to see. Because the big concern as well is whenever the Kits wants to start rotating out of the lane, and of course, once he gets Matt's Tidebringer, he doesn't need to show mid lane very much. And then I think that play and that dive mid is not going to nearly work out as easily. But again, we'll have to see. I think they still have quite a few problems to fix here. And another thing kind of looming over them is this is great. This is fine and dandy right now, but eventually your Morph is going to be hungry for a few more levels, and more so once that Lycan hits level 6 and gets the Helmet of the Dominator, he's going to be in, and there's your first punish onto the Silencer. Finally having the level 2 on that Snapfire, and I think not even the boots, but just the Windlace, able to close that gap. AB1 can't make that mistake anymore, otherwise you can throw away all that hard work you've done in that first 6 minutes of this game.
And Wolf Team kind of getting the go-ahead to make that play as they spotted Merlin rotating his way mid. They tried to get onto Sooth, but Sooth hit a very nice two-man tornado that kind of just shut it down. So Wolf Team then knows, hey, we've got a 3v2. No reinforcements coming. Starting to see some signs of life for them. It still leaves them down 2k in the first couple of minutes here, ET, but progress is being made, and now they're going to go again. AB1, too far forward, same situation, no way out. Maybe they can get a kill onto KJ first. Not first, but they do get it.
Ooh,
Although with the Skywrath coming
there's
in,
the snap.
yeah. FCR is not going to make it. Jug says, sorry, man. I already spun. I literally don't have spells. So, 2-for-1 trade in 5RAT's favor, but I don't know. Like I said, if you're Wolf Team, the start was about as bad as it possibly could have been. So anything you get at this point has to be viewed as a benefit. That is not a benefit, though. If HFN goes down here, they are going to be very unhappy. Will he be able to spin? Yes, he will. Just in time to avoid that last Arcane Bolt.
Yeah, and really, it's funny. We're playing chicken as well with the top lane not rotating down here. Either offlaner could make that choice, but until they find that perfect opportunity, they don't want to give up the entire free farm that is that top lane. And
Mhm.
in doing so, it means that bottom lane is not going to receive any help from both sides, even though eventually, I feel like the closer they get to this tower, the more likely it is for that Prometheus to just TP over. But this has also resulted in Speed being the top net worth. He is farming everything. He's been pulling the creep wave into the jungle camps. He's been doubling over King RD. And now with level 4
Rotate.
trample, gotta be careful. But yeah, mid.
Cookie's
The
stun was there,
supports,
but...
but
Oh, KJ doesn't have a point in cogs. Well, that's a little awkward. That makes that play unbelievably difficult, so... Well, Kits just kind of sidesteps it. I did not realize KJ didn't have that.
no, and again, HFN is kind of the wanderer of the lane so far up, and his support dying as he rotates back to the lane. HFN's best option is to farm the stacked large camp and look for any XP, even though this camp kind of hurts. He's kind of getting beat up, but there's literally no other option for him right now. Otherwise, his lane is unwalkable too. The NM is farming literally under the tower in the safest position he possibly can. And everybody else is just scouted.
Hmm.
I don't know. 5RAT's lanes are just winning so spectacularly. And again, this is without the addition of Speed, who has just decided to hunker down and farm and get whatever he wants top. Because it's working.
Yeah. Got the Falcon Blade already. His boots finished off. A Soul Ring's coming out to him, so... He's going for smaller items. You know, he's not getting massively greedy here, but... Now maybe we see some sort of punish play onto him. Sooths is in. We're going to hit him with the Cold Snap. I don't think the EMP is going to connect, though. It's a little too far away, and Speed's just going to onslaught himself out of here. First attention either team has paid top, and it's a 3-man rotation in that doesn't net a kill.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big swing and a miss, because of course now HFN, I think, has to take over the mid lane if he wants to get any of this lane farm. And sure, you're going to give some levels over to the Clockwork now, but again, the cores on 5RAT are just continuing to excel. They're continuing to accelerate incredibly quickly. Kit's just got level 7 as well, so he's going to be able to do that thing. The big thing they have to worry about is just making that mistake of feeding one of these ultra-farmed cores. You lose Speed because he's just not playing careful enough and dies to the Invoker, who, again, isn't showing mid, and that's one of the biggest benefits of that Kunkka. You just push the wave in so fast. If any creeps are hitting that mid tower, you know that somebody's getting active, so you just play defensively, and then you don't give up the play. So you just keep the game rolling, which is just going to continue to feel very nice for them. 4K at 10 minutes. Oh, man. Just feels good. There's still no boots on this Clockwork as well. It's just been a real struggle, but I almost feel like give him the tome. Just give him a hook shot to cross the map instead, because he is not going anywhere. And there you go. He's going to buy it.
There we go. On its way out to him. And yeah, I mean, as of right now, KJ's really the only one who has playmaking ability once he has hook shot. Before that's kind of iffy, because nobody else can really just force a fight, unless the Invoker hits just a crazy sort of tornado EMP combo, perhaps, but he's not exactly just going to throw that out there, go fishing for a random hit, so they need the clock to be sort of up to snuff at the moment, as they're eyeballing DNM, but the Morphling has gotten to a point in this lane where he doesn't really need any assistance, and in fairness, the tri-lane was not in his lane to help him, the tri-lane was there to kill, but they don't even really need to be in that position anymore.
No, they don't, and DNM being the big old bully just forces any hero that he's going to lane against. He's been on 100% agi pretty much this entire game because he's just denying everything, and without any really easy stuns to land onto him, kills just not happening. And they just saw HFN spin, but okay, he's going to make his exit before the Kunkka is actually able to close the gap. But scary, but shapeshift top, looking for speed, and speed is low. Could just die here, and this is that first mistake, and yeah, we'll get taken down, and I think Merlin is probably dead as well. He TP'd up here, gonna get body blocked, and little duo there. Double kill for King RD. Okay, that's step 1 for Wolf Team.
First shapeshift, I believe, and it does its job. As you say, the Pulverize even was used there at the very end. Its cooldown is negligible, but whatever. But he did commit it. That's the problem with the life, or not the lifesteal, wow, the Lycan though. And you pointed out in the draft, cool. You pulverize him. His 3 creeps are still hitting you. He still finds the kill. Speaking of kills though, yeah, Kits wants FCR here, and he is almost certainly going to get it. No way out for this snap, but the sacrifice is at least going to allow that Lycan to just clear out.
Yeah, and of course, the only drawback of that Lycan is now you have unleashed the beast across the map. Speed is looking for a TP rotation. He's looking for kills now. And if you're King RD, you can't show on the lanes for another 60 seconds. Otherwise, you will start to be the one to feed, and that's where you just simply can't afford to do so. It's why Speed is kind of baiting the Skyreth mage mid right now. Even though we'll have to see if he just gives up and goes for the farm. But Wolf Team have brought pretty much everybody bottom here. They do have to be careful, though, because, of course, there is the threat of the global silence. Maybe one can get pretty much anyone out of trouble if they are looking for those kills. Anyone except for if the Lycan is Shapeshift running at you, because that's just a precast spell. But instead, they smoke up the Primal Beast, and they're looking for a play bottom. They just saw KJ for a second there.
This is a big problem.
All
They're both standing on this ward.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes AB1 as
Oh,
well.
nice.
Hook
He's a
shots
Lycan.
in. Mortimer kisses there, but there's that global silence. They're going to shut that down right away. DNM managing the stats, but with teammates coming in from behind, they're going to turn the tables on this one. King RD and HFN both go down. AB1 will be sacrificed, but KJ will fall, and I do not believe FCR is getting out of this one. Merlin, though, doesn't have enough mana for another concussive, so okay. FCR does get to walk away, but that's not really the hero you want surviving. They lose 3 heroes, including 2 cores, and AB1 is the only casualty on the 5RAT side.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like they were trying to do a little bit too much there. And of course, the threat of the global, not respected, and they TP in the Lycan with maybe 10 seconds up on the shapeshift before he can actually make it happen. But because you do that, and in doing so, you just kill him to the Primal Beast, because that is what Primal Beast will do. He will kill a hero that shows on the lanes that isn't able to survive through his combo. It's just that free of a play. I think getting the Invoker now towards bottom, they know that they can probably make this happen. It should probably just go for the tower trade instead, but when you start trading off these towers, it's where I keep on looking over at Speed and see he's got a full BKB queued up. He's honestly not even that far away from it. This will be probably a concession.
TPs.
Oh, no. They're bringing in the team.
Fuck?
I don't know if I like this.
To? They hook onto AB1 on the back line, so they're just trying to take that silencer out first, but do they have enough damage to then deal with the frontline problem? Not really. HFN gets taken down in the Mystic Flare. I feel like you could go for one of those 2 plays, but not both. Instead, they split the focus, and it's going to cost them. Speed, though, getting a little bit slowed up. Not able to continue this chase. Wolf Team will try to reconnect on the high ground as KJ jumps in with the Tumbler's Toy. Going to catch Merlin out in the cogs. Meanwhile, to the north, they do have Kits locked down, but he's not actually going to get taken out in this fight, and now Speed is going to jump back in. Pulverized onto the Invoker, locking him down. DNM pushing in now as well. Morphs into the Invoker to get the Cold Snap. And this fight's starting to fall apart. Wolf Team need to get the hell out of dodge, but they're not really going to be able to escape. King RD is so slow. Waveform forward from DNM. Going to lock him in place. The cookie moves him, technically speaking, but not really far enough to keep him alive, as he should eventually be run down. Merlin is going to die in exchange, so they're getting something out of this on Wolf Team, but not nearly enough as Speed goes in for the kill. KJ, oh, I like the idea, but he's just a little late.
Yeah, and I don't know, leading up to that fight, Wolf Team do such a good job. They get both high grounds. They know exactly what's going on. They kill the silencer first, which is great, but he didn't even have global. That was just them getting really Arcane Curse off the deck. And of course, then the response, the great silence from Merlin that ends up killing HFN the first time, did not get to see anything out of the jug there to help out that team fight. And then even the shapeshift feels like it ended up being a huge dive that they just couldn't keep up with. And maybe you get Merlin at the end of the day, you kill the supports, and I think Kits goes down as well, but the rest of the lineup just continues to move forward and continue to grow, which is very scary. And, well, supports, they're walking into Speed. That's a big unit you just stumbled on.
Well, goodbye, KJ. FCR's at least able to walk away, but that's unfortunate. And in fact, that's a bit of a double whammy, right? They drop the wards down, Kits immediately dewarded, then they go up the other ramp and end up losing a support anyway, so bit of a harsh one. Speaking of harsh plays, there's a silence onto the Invoker in the middle lane. They're going to hit him with the Onslaught. The X is going to pull him back into the Ghost Ship. That is the very definition of clean, ET. In and out. No muss, no fuss.
Yeah. Really just fantastic silences from Merlin. Every single time, just gives them that confidence to keep the play
Oh,
going.
supports.
Ooh, Merlin
Oh my
doesn't know
god.
how close he is danger-wise, but that's also where there is that global silence now again, so you need that shapeshift to actually kill these supports off, otherwise you probably are just gonna die, but Kits has his BKB, Speed is maybe 300 gold away from his own, and then, oh, you've got double BKB timing on 5RATFORCESTAFF, and you look over at Wolf Team, they need a lot more time. Really, again, the only hero that is online right now is King RD. He's got his Helm of the Overlord now coming out, so you're going to have that threat of the Ancient Creep. And we'll have to see what they go for item-wise on 5-Rat 4-Staff. Both supports are just focusing on the 4-Staffs right now, because of course there's a clockwork in the game. And, oh no, HFN.
They caught him.
He just dead to the supports. Oh, this is so sad.
Kits comes in, I think, at the last second there to grab an assist on that too, so he'll get some extra gold. But yeah, 99% of the work there is just done by Merlin and AB1, and that is all the indicator I think you need, ET, of the way that this game has gone. That is your carry, and a Juggernaut at that, the hero who's supposed to be largely immune to those exact plays, getting caught out by just the two supports.
Yeah, no, it's not fun, and I think across the board, there's a good few Midases queued up, and it looks like HFN will just have a casual glove of haste now because he's very aware that you just need a Manta style in this game. You just need any way for yourself to purge off those silences. Otherwise, it's going to continue to happen. And now, it's something that 5-Rat can't do, as we usually talk about in this kind of mid-game timing where it's really difficult to put pressure on the tier 2s, is whether or not the roster and the lineup can force Roche. And sadly, 5-Rat can't really force Roche just yet. But
Double
yeah,
silenced again, Mystic Flare down. Just so painful at this point. He's sitting on 2 and 4, and ET, as you say, a mad dash for this Manta, but he's not even got the Yasha yet. This is going to be a long haul, and Wolf Team, at this point, I'm genuinely starting to wonder, do they survive to the point where he can have a Manta?
yeah, and they go into the pit, and again, this is not really the fastest Roche ever, but this is their double BKB timing, so they're going to go for it. But they did use the global for just a pick off, so this is going to get very dangerous. 5-Rat should just reset on the high ground now, which does leave the Roshan very low, but this is where they need to really be careful. They don't want to give away this fight.
Going to push for a kill, though. Hold up.
Yeah.
There's going to be the silence. He did get off the shapeshift, but he's pulled back into the ghost ship. Can they follow this up, though? There's going to be the onslaught coming in. Torrent connects as well. King RD trying to run. He's not going to make it out. AB1 gets the kill. Hookshot in from KJ onto Kits, who's losing his BKB now. There's going to be the Omni Slash, but the bounces are okay. It is still going to work. They take down Kits. The problem is now your Jug is caught in this fight. He's going to spin his way through this. And they are resetting relatively well, but now Speed says, I want in. He's onslaughting in onto 3, connecting onto everyone. Invoker silenced up, dropped low, taken down as DNM will get the kill. Speed did have to sacrifice himself in the backline, but if they can track these kills down, it's still going to be a one-team fight for the 5-Rat side. That curse does not hit, but HFN, he's the lone survivor. But ET, I suppose, taking a look at the recap, even though they lose more heroes, they get more gold and experience, and they did stop the Roche attempt.
Yeah, and end up okay with the situation. I feel like this is where 5-Rat, now they are going to be back at full force. Global is 10 seconds out. You don't have your BKBs, but I would not be surprised if they want to force the issue yet again. But it's also daytime, and there is the clockwork still, so maybe 5-Rat just decide to go for a slightly slower approach, especially because even in the current circumstances, if you're bodying the Roche pit, if you're blocking every hook angle, you don't have any BKB or anything of the works for DNM, so you could actually just feed the Aegis away for free. They would have to smoke to get a play going. If they get a pick into Roche, then it's free, but I like that 5-Rat are saying that this is a dangerous situation that they should appreciate, but support's set up to break smokes here. They're going to put a ward up there. Well,
Speed's just going to go. Oh, there he is, in onto KJ, trying to take him out of the fight. This is not a quick kill, but they will get it, but there's going to be HFN blown up on the other side. Without that Manta, he just can't get out of the silence. They'll lose FCR as well. Now they get the Pulverize in onto the Lycan, who is shapeshifted, but he's not doing any damage. He's using that shapeshift to run, and Speed says, where the hell are you going? Gets back into the fight with the onslaught, but eventually he does have to let him go. So, well, they found the big kills. King RT Did send that Thunderhide to snipe out Merlin in the end, so there is a kill going the Wolf Team way, but that fight does exactly what 5RAT wanted to, ET. They're back in the pit, and at this point, I guess KJ could try for the hookshot play, but it's going to be tough. Although with Seuss just going straight in here, they're going to try and force something. There's going to be the hookshot, but yeah, Seuss has to be careful. There's going to be the Deafening Blast trying to buy some time, but Speed comes in with the onslaught, and Seuss is not in a great spot. Trample is still going to do the damage to him. They have a sentry down, so they do see him. But they don't want to chase too far because they know King RD is here as well as Speed. I think he just tried for the Pulverize, but the Cold Snap's actually going to cancel it. The Global Silence now has to be used to cancel the Mortimer Kisses, and ET, nobody actually gets to use their spells here.
Yeah, but honestly, this was all an engagement where Shapeshift was cooling down, and HFN needs to be very cautious. If they get vision of him in the pit, he could just get silenced, but they're going to get the Roche. 5RAT don't have enough to actually contend this, and sure, you're about to lose the Clockwork, but I feel like if they just keep their head down and get this, this could be their swipe away from 5RAT.
It's just coming into the pit, though. HFN
Nope.
got it. Now he's going to Omni Slash his way forward. Merlin taken down. Kits with the BKB active is going to be relatively okay, but he still needs to back off, but Speed is going in again. Onslaught going to connect. Seuss in some trouble. Trample damage into the Pulverize will be enough to take him down. And they want onto King RD as well. Try to track onto him. 5 seconds for Shapeshift. Can he buy enough time? Looking a little bit iffy. At the same time, though, Kits can't actually help because that Ancient Black Dragon is trying to track him down, so he has to run away. And King RD actually might just try and chase for the kill. Does he get it, though? No, he doesn't. And now he's in trouble. The X hit. That's going to pull him back. Do they have the damage to take the Wolf down?
Yeah.
Eh.
Oh, uphill miss.
He's not dead yet. He's making a run for it.
Okay, and he does escape. That was almost a big mistake from him in getting so close to the Kunkka, and that was not the cleanest maybe micro ever, as Speed still fiends for the
Oh,
Lycan.
he sees it. No, he doesn't see it. Oh. My mistake. I thought he had vision through the tree line there, but he did not. So King RD gets away, and Wolf Team, I mean, what a play. You lose, you know, quite a few heroes there, but the Lycan isn't one of those heroes, and neither is HFN, who now has the Aegis in hand.
No, definitely not. And now, well, you get to kind of chill. You get to wait out, I think, a lot of what 5RAT would have wanted to do to you. And I think a large part of why they get the Aegis is just, again, DNM not having a BKB, not feeling confident enough to go into the pit when you do have tornadoes, you've got the Clockwork just causing issues for you. And, again, using that global to not really do anything to the Jug. I think HFN got the first freebie he has had in this game where he doesn't become the focus for the Scarlet Mage and the Silencer to just get their spells dumped on top of him. But no, it's a pretty nice fight for them. Doesn't change the gold too much, but it will start to change the gold because they are out into all 3 lanes. They are just out farming 5RAT right now, or instead looking for pickoffs as opposed to farming, but in doing so, it's probably going to be a 5k gold lead in just a few moments here. Might lose some of King RD's creeps, but aside from that, you know, they're doing a pretty fine job, and the split push is actually becoming quite annoying. Your top lane is going to get cut. There's creeps in bottom. Zeus is forward spearing out that lane. No, 5RAT need to focus up here and get onto another objective. Otherwise, both team are going to get through the danger. FCR, well, Snapfire might die. But again, this isn't going to lead up into an objective.
Yeah, they really need to get their lanes under control at this point because, as you say, they've knocked a couple thousand net worth off of that deficit for Wolf Team, and, well, this could be a little bit problematic. Speed, not able to actually get anything, though, so HFN walks away. He'll try to go right back to farming, and this is time that if you're 5RAT, you are very uncomfortable giving up to your opponents, but what can they really do, right? They'd have to just commit sort of 4 or 5 heroes into a lane and just push it out, but that means the side lanes are going to get pushed instead. And you see Seuss, he's all the way up to the tier 3. Alacrity's a siege creep, so there is some serious damage being dealt here, and we're not seeing much of a response from 5RAT.
No, instead they're just focusing, they're putting their heads down and finishing up some items. You just got the AC on the Kunkka, just got your BKB on the Morphling, but...
Okay, here's the attempt.
HFN, there you go. Aegis gone. They have Global as well, so
Hook missed.
they really need to help him. There's no Mantis Style for 3 seconds, but... Okay. Spins away. Says that this fight is going to be too big for us to actually take. Instead, just reach you to the high ground. They don't have their Lycan down bottom as well, so the longer they stay here, the more they almost force that 4v5 situation that really they do not want. You need the Lycan to get involved to put pressure on these supports. Otherwise, AB1 and Merlin just have way too much impact, and DNM showing himself here, tracking down the Forge Spirits. I think that they are going to try and make the escape. KJ might be the only one to die here for Wolf Team, but not the biggest loss in the world, and you still keep the pressure on the lanes because King RD just keeps these creeps doing the damage. Now you're mid-tower. Don't know if it's going to go down here. Speed has pulverized, so yeah, might even just kill the Black Dragon, but tower ended up eating a lot of damage. You got the Aegis as well, but I feel like we're going to need to see another smoke for 5RAT to really get this game going again. They've been stalled out.
Yeah, it's not looking fantastic for them. I do want to point out, though, did just see a moment ago, the shard was picked up by AB1, so he's got a little bit of an extra silence. He's got the increased int steal too, which, considering how many times heroes like the Clockwork have been taken down, which I did not realize that number before, he is 0-13. His mana pool is getting a little bit small. Meanwhile, the life bar for King RD is getting kind of small there, but he was able to get off both the BKB and his shapeshift, so now Kits is the one who has to get away, but KJ is going to cancel that TP, but now here comes the Global Silence, in with the Pulverize, in with the Ghost Ship. They're just going to do everything that they've got to try and find these kills. They do manage to get one, but they need more. DNM morphs himself into the jug, spins his way forward, but it looks like at this point they would like to regroup. They have very little HP on a lot of these heroes. As AB1 does go down, those kisses, they really should not connect onto much of anyone. They don't have the range. In the meantime, Kits with the Tidebringer does find the kill, and Speed's actually going to go back in, gets the stun onto 2. And now the Pulverize catching out the Invoker. This fight is getting so broken up, ET, but it looks like 5RAT are going to just sort of hold the line. Kits and DNM put in some serious work. And it's only HFN to survive.
It's a great punish. Kits ends up surviving, I think, for way too long, and okay,
Yeah.
getting punished by the vision here, and okay, HFN, that's a pretty sick soul kill. Now your Jug's level 19, but back to the team fight. Yeah, just survived way too long on the Kunkka. It ended up doing so much damage to the Lycan as well. You weren't able to really use your BKB to stick on those supports. So what ended up happening is shapeshift times out. You're already on about 500 HP on the Lycan. You're stuck in the fight, and King RD doesn't find his moment to leave, and DNM just sits there and 8-clicks because this Morphling is still more or less uncontested, especially if he can become the Juggernaut. It gets the spin-off. He just does not care at all. But even in his BKB, he's just right-clicking people to death. And he does queue up the Ags now, so we'll get to see how that actually plays into the Jug matchup. But still, not the worst-case scenario for Wolf Team yet again here. Any amount of time, any amount of kills that HFN's able to pick up, his game feels pretty much fixed at this point. And, well, KJ, okay. He did that to himself, yeah. You jump the supports, they punch back.
Hook shot for what? That was not the best of maneuvers. And again, I do really want to sort of drive this point home for the Clockwork in particular. That's another 4 int that he loses. His mana pool is 171.
Yeah, he can't cast spells anymore.
He's got to buy something. He does not have enough for hook shot and battery assault. That... Ugh. Rough life for the Clockwork. Really is just a hook shot at this point as HFN. Uh-oh. That's... Okay. Speed just sneaks up on him. I don't know how the hell a Primal Beast sneaks up on anyone. He's massive, but he doesn't get the spin off. Gets caught by the Pulverize into the damage from the Morph, and... Oh, Wolf Team had been looking real good, ET, but they can't afford to give up kills like that one, as there's the dust. They've spotted Suits. Silence not going to come out, actually, as they do pop the BKB. And I think this might just be enough to get him out of here. Suits is going to try to walk away. Oh, nope. X is going to catch him. Here comes the Torrent. Here comes the Ghost Ship. Here comes DNM. They will find that kill. In the meantime, Speed just goes all the way onto the tier 2 looking for KJ, but he doesn't really have the damage to find that kill all by himself. But here comes the Morph again. Does he actually want to go, though? It's still a little bit risky, not knowing maybe what's on the high ground of the base, but KJ's going to step a little bit further forward. This might be doable. Oh, KJ, you don't want it. You don't want to be here.
Yeah. DNM just sitting on top of him. What can you do? That's pretty tough, but each time Wolf Team are going for these little skirmishes, 5RAT just look them blankly in the face. They're not getting their BKBs. 5RAT aren't really scared all too much unless they're getting gone on by the Clockwork, and probably the Mortimer kisses, but again, your Snapfire is countered by Silencer in this game. You can't get the kisses off. You're not creating enough of reaction out of 5RAT with the rest of your lineup, and that does become a little bit of a problem, especially with the Lycan, where, of course, you don't care about the global as long as you get your ulti off, but the rest of your lineup just isn't able to follow up, and without Wolf Team making enough plays to actually get this game started on the supports, it doesn't happen. As well as 25-second Roche, they're going to scout it out. It's going to just stumble out of the pit, and, well, this is going to be the new focus of the game.
Hmm.
Wolf Team, they pretty much have everything that they would like to make this team fight happen. Maybe they would have liked to finish the AC up on that Lycan, but 5RAT, though, saying that we do need a pick off beforehand, and Smoke doesn't get scouted, but they see speed.
That's a problem. They're in onto HFN. Not able to finish him off, but KJ had to sacrifice himself. Speed, though. Onslaught's forward. Trample onto King RD is going to force his BKB. Shapeshift now as well. But Shapeshift to run away, not to go in. At least they don't lose cores, ET, but with the Clockwork dead, that's your primary means of contesting this Roche.
Yeah, and now they need to, again, try and get something, because that jump happens. Nobody pops their BKB. Everybody holds it. You've got diamond hands on 5RAT. They're just not giving up any advantage or any opening, and sure, you're going to Sunstrike the pit, but this time around, you are not coming over in the slightest. Your Clockwork might flare it, and no, it doesn't get the last hit on the roast. No snatch Aegis, but if Wolf Team just have to use everything to either disengage or even get the team fight going, and
Whoops. That's an accidental BKB out of DNM.
happens to the best of us.
Oh well, he's got Aegis. He'll be fine. It was the 8-second. That hurts a little bit more, but still. Shouldn't be too big a deal.
Is funny though, because of course, you never know. Probably could be a Hanna hotkey user, accidentally presses Alt S because he's just stopping his hero while looking at icons on the map. Who knows? Who knows? But bottom lane
DNM,
gets deorted. Yeah,
He's looking for
kinda
HFN.
up.
Okay,
Well,
just gonna go
TP.
for the TP. Should be fine. His teammates, though, maybe not. Sooth is in some trouble. Yule Scepter is going to allow him to dodge the X, but he is still in the middle of 4, and he has been dusted. Going to be able to lock him down. They won't get that creep, though. Walks away, so they're not going to give up any extra gold on that front, but that's still another core going down. At this point, ET, I'm just now realizing, other than the times he's dying, when was the last time we talked about Sooths on this Invoker in a positive light? He's just been so quiet.
Yeah, hasn't really been able to make anything happen, and a large part of that is because the Lycan and the Jug are just not heroes that enable him. They don't have stuns, they don't have setup. It would have had to come from the Clockwork, but KJ as well has had a very difficult game. He's had to throw his life away a good few times now just to make sure that his cores can get off BKBs, get off spin, even get off the Manta. So it's tough when both of your heroes are so reliant on each other. Just a lot more pressure was put on the individual performances for Wolf Team. And now, well, 5RAT, they're here. They're onto your tier 2s. Still a lot of creep cutting going on. In HFN, one of the benefits of this Juggernaut, you can still pretty much always go for that spin TP as long as you don't get silenced. So you will be able to pretty safely cut this top wave. But that's where they are pushing in 2 lanes, though. So you've got to choose to make a defense somewhere. I don't think we're going to see it at this tier 2, even though the Snapfire is maybe slightly poised to make a jump here, but I think that's where for Wolf Team, they can only find big team fights at this stage. They're not really getting the pickoffs. The supports are just always connected with the rest of the lineup. Very rarely are we seeing 5RAT leave their 5-man, and of course, that does mean that they are slightly more vulnerable to the split push, but if you have an unstoppable team fight that you pretty much cannot lose, then why not go for it? And even though there was some creep cut top, the card actually survives, so if they keep it alive, backdoor will go away, and DNM with his full Satanic, again, they're just simply ready for the fight for 5RAT, where Wolf Team still need more time, still need a few more items before they're really going to be confident. And of course, high ground is the typical throw. We'll see, because 5RAT, they still have a tall order ahead of them, but we're in that realm of luxury where you've got a Hex on the Primal Beast, you have Satanic Morph, Kits has whatever he wants at this stage. He just buys a full Silver Edge, so doesn't really care if you're the Kunkka, but they're in a little bit of a base race situation here in bottom lane. These are a lot of units, and both teams have Glyph, but I wonder who respects who more here, because the towers are getting chunked.
TP from Kunkka, although he was X'd, so... Oh. What the heck? Okay. That looked a little bit weird, but it's not enough. They would need to bring
And
more
5RAT,
heroes back. They're gonna
oh,
bring
they TP
speed
home.
back. That's a
Oh,
bit of a
this is
weird one,
unfortunate.
actually.
No, they decided to TP home because they didn't get the glyph. They didn't get the tier 3 fast enough, and they're going on speed, but this is slow.
Yeah. There's that BKB out. It does allow them to finish the ranged racks, I suppose, but they might not all make it away. Oh, speed? I don't think he realized that that was a slower TP. It was going to the tier 1 rather than all the way back to the fountain, so he might have been able to do something, although I think he had used all of his spells for sure. I think the Scythe was on cooldown as well, so no means to cancel, but that's a win if you're Wolf Team, right? Your own high ground is safe. You did, you know, kind of have to pop Glyph a little bit there, but you do get the tier 3 and the ranged racks on the other side, and nobody goes down. KJ, I just said nobody goes down. You need to get the hell out of there. He is trying to make it home, and he might make it, but there's going to be the Hex into the Mystic Flare. DNM just picks up a free kill, and... Okay, not everyone makes it home, but 4 out of 5 will.
Yeah, and I think got scary there just for a second. If 5RAT didn't have the rest of the lineup hanging in the wings, speed without BKB was definitely the vulnerable target. But again, the net worth lead is not moving an inch. Even though you should have the advantage here, you should be able to make that next play. They just aren't necessarily hitting. And okay, HFN gonna get stunned up quite a bit here. And there's the silence. And has the Manta. Oh,
They didn't
speed.
get off the global in time. He's going to get a little bit awkward. He is silenced up now, though.
Oh.
Double silence coming in. Hit from Kits. Going to connect. Mystic Flare. Didn't get the first bit of damage, but they X him back into it, and they will find the pickoff. So 5RAT, they get their target ET, but again, we're sort of back to a previous problem. Look at all of the lanes. None of them are really pushing in 5RAT's favor, so they're not going to get an objective off the back of this, and if they pick a lane and push, by the time they get close, the Jug's going to be pretty close to respawning.
Oh, but look at this. Trying to make the play happen, and they will refocus on the supports. Yeah, they're just going to kill off the Snapfire and the clock. Nothing they can do about that. Will be a warning signal for Suits to maybe go one more lane and then get the hell out of here. But now you are dead to rights. You are getting pushed in. You have fed 3 kills on the map. This is where you are kind of in doomsday territory here. There's no glyph as well, so they want to push through mid and top at the same time. They can get a lot of that tier 3 damage because the glyph will get replenished as soon as it does get killed. Aegis is gone though for DNM, so he doesn't have that to play around with. But again, feeding so many kills and in that awkward position where you don't and you can't really buy back, it's going to be at least one free rack, so definitely fight over the next. But that's your first freebie for 5RAT.
Clear it out. Juggernaut coming back up here, so Wolf Team are going to be able to regroup, but that is going to finally push the lead, all right? It was sitting in that spot. It had kind of plateaued for a bit over the course of a few minutes, but yeah, 3 kills and a full lane of racks will definitely boost you up. 22k lead now for 5RAT, but going to need to do that again. Going to need to close this out, really put the clamps on Wolf Team, because, I mean, ET, we're past the 40-minute mark. You get the feeling this game wasn't even supposed to go this long. Wolf Team have not gone away, although this is going to be brutal. This is that's just a straight-up mistake out of HFN.
Yep, just blink, hex, pulverized, killed by the Sky Earth Mage. Just shows underneath vision that is very nicely placed by Albino Zebra 1, and with that, they are going to get crushed even closer. And I mean, it's funny, Wolf Team, they made this game seem maybe just slightly closer with the amount of farm they're getting on their side lane cores, but now you see 25k gold lead, you realize the score is 50 to 18, and the one thing you can say is that even though the cores may have been able to find that farm in the side lanes and is half the farm that they've got on 5RAT, the supports have languished. They have nothing right now, and okay, EMP might burn the mana of Kits. Of course, there's the Hex though, and gotta be a little bit careful, but okay, turning away.
It's going to be a very risky play from him. In the meantime, it's going to be a slow siege. DNM's just going to push up to the tier 3. Got a couple of siege creeps to help. That Sunstrike is technically going to do damage, and I think that's the best we could say about it, but the glyph is really going to be the killer there. Clears through those creeps and buys some time. DNM, though, yeah, he's got Satanic. He's back up to full HP, and he can continue sort of hacking away at this, and if your Wolf Team ET, if you're not going to take the fight here, I don't know if you have a much better position mid on that last lane, so they need to try and do something, but at this point, Suits, he's already getting hit pretty hard. He's forced to pop his BKB, but the damage is just too much. He's already dead. He doesn't have buyback available. KJ just tried to hook shot onto the backline, but misses with that hook. Now the Global Silence will come, and this is starting to get a little bit ugly. Can they regroup? KJ gonna get taken down. Kits is dropping, though, so they'll at least finish off him. But they're just starting to break apart now. The Juggernaut is trying to run. Speed's not going to let him get away. Now they've got eyes on the Clockwork as well, who is trying to... I don't know what he's trying to do out here, ET, but it's not going to work. KJ goes down. HFN falls. GG will be called. And they'll clean up King RD to make it a full 5-man wipe.
No, an important first win here, an important opening win for 5RAT to get a little bit more ground back after last night's pretty rough 2-0 from the cut, but yeah, super solid game plan, super solid draft. I think, unfortunately, again, that trialing situation just set them off to such a bad start. Just didn't feel nice. I think maybe in their heads, they were just kind of frothing at the mouth at this idea of just Snapfire cooking in the Clockwork, getting on top of either the Skywrath Mage or the Silencer, and then having that lead into a kill. Of course, the problem is that your Snapfire doesn't get level 2 until, what, 5 minutes into the game, so you just never have that cookie to make the play. Meanwhile, you're just feeding kill after kill to your opponents, so this ended up being an incredibly slow start for HFN. And then, even though I do like the Lycan, and you do give him probably the most ideal situation out of the laning phase, Primal Beast still just ends up being a stronger laner, ends up being a stronger team fighter, ends up doing, I think, a little bit more than you really can do with that hard limit on the shapeshift cooldown. And then, even though King RD tries, just isn't able to make enough happen. But I do wonder what was going on, what Wolf Team's real big idea there was to give him that soul lane. Because, again, Jug versus Primal Beast, we saw it last night, we've seen it in games before where it ends up being pretty much just not bad for the Jug, but I don't know. Wolf Team just decided to avoid it, but okay. Game 2, see if they give us a little bit more of a fight. But again, really important win for 5RAT. Really needed this to, again, want to stay in that upper echelon of those 4 teams that make it into the upper bracket, because without a 2-0 here, they're in more of that wishy-washy territory. And against Wolf Team, a team that is trying to make that alley-oop, perfect for them.
Especially considering for 5RAT, we didn't really mention it in the draft, but it is worth talking about. This is their final series of the group stage. So they got the 1 point. A 2-0 would get them the maximum point value that they could be sort of getting out of their group stage run. And you want those points because from here on out, you are sitting and watching everyone else. So good start for them. Very solid game, but let's see if they can now take this momentum and turn it into a 2-0. So we will be stepping away for just a little bit here, but when we return, it'll be that second match between 5RAT and Wolf Team.